Historic Reynolds Gym sold out on this championship Saturday as the Vikings and Chargers collide in a battle for pace. It's the matchup so many dreamed of. We have it in front of us. The 3A men's title game about set to tip off. And alongside Kevin Cantwell, Jason Patterson here. A pleasure to have you with us. And Coach, this matchup features so many outstanding players.
Jaden Thompson, high octane, all over the place, does everything good.
Thompson on one side, our player to watch. You flip over to the other side of things, guy headed to Chapel Hill, no less.
And he signed, he committed there early on. He's a very good player, and if he keeps going strong, he's going to be in the NBA. He's a very nice player. Plays point guard, but he's not going to be a guard in college.
Question on everybody's mind, what does it come down to? What are your keys to this contest?
Well, Cabarrus is so small, they're going to have to defend the size, and they're going to have to limit turnovers, and then defend the perimeter. And Northwood's going to have to defend the perimeter and retain possessions. They're going to have to watch turning the ball over, too.
All right, the championship moment has arrived. Central Cabarrus and Northwood on the other side of the break for the 3A title. Starting lineup for this 3A title game. Here's a glance at the 5 on the floor for the Vikings of Central Cabarrus. Those the myspot.nc.gov starting lineups. Here's a glance at what's happening for the Chargers. The 5 on the floor. Now having been introduced to you, we are ready to tip off this basketball game. Out of Concord, North Carolina, Central Cabarrus. Out of Pittsburgh, North Carolina, the Northwood Chargers, and we are ready to roll. Something has to give between an undefeated and perfect 31-0 Viking squad, a 28-2 Chargers team making its 5th appearance, still seeking a first title. Vikings won it in 2000 over Dudley, looking for number 2. And Coach, we're rolling in the 3A title game.
I can't wait to see this because you've got the 5 guards against a big, tall team and see what they're going to do defensively. They're going to play zone right away.
Well, there's a West Shore home 3 effort from the corner, won't go, and just that quickly. Here come the Chargers.
Now, Central, all they want to do is try to get you to turn the ball over. They're going to work hard.
There's all that size inside. First bucket, Keenan Parrish.
If they play a half-court game like that, they can't win. And they're not going to do that. They're going to try to go up-tempo quickly.
Coach, he's a 7-footer. He has the first bucket, and he cleans the boards on this end of the floor. Keenan Parrish is senior at 7 foot 250. From the corner, 3 ball, won't go. Rebounded, and the putback through. How about that follow? There he is, Drake Powell.
He's going to be very, very good.
Powell, who averages 18.6 per contest, 7 rebounds, and 4.1 assists per game, all team highs. And if you missed it in the open, he's headed to Chapel Hill, going to be a North Carolina Tar Heel.
And if Central can't turn them over, they're going to have a long day, a long night, because they're going to have to get this ball. They can't let them get close to the basket and get into the big guys.
If ever there was a battle for pace, we're watching one tonight. You've got size, length, half-court game versus run, gun, speed, and athletic ability, and that 3 ball won't go for the big man. Eventually cleared out of there by Central. Daniel tosses it back out top to Jaden Thompson. Thompson 20.1 points per game for the leading scorer of the Vikings. Inside the 3-point line, won't go down. What do you watch early in a game like this where it really is a struggle for who's going to set the tone?
Yeah, right. I'm just trying to see what the defenses are going to do because that shot that...
There's a 7-footer again. Keenan Parrish making his presence known early.
Yeah, you know, like I said, if they can't get them to turn the ball over out here, they're going to really run into hard. They're 7 foot 6'8" inside. And then Drake, 6'6". So they're huge.
Chargers make their money on lockdown defense. They use their height and their length as an advantage. Central Cabarrus unable to run just yet, though that's their M.O.
They got to score.
Nice off the glass.
Now they trap. They got to score so they can run into the full court trap.
Adriel Miller lays home their first bucket. You said it. First chance they've got to do much of anything off the made basket.
Yeah, they're going to have to play full court this game. They can't play a half-court game with them.
Half-court game certainly trends Northwood Chargers.
They play the ball hard. That way it doesn't go inside so easy. You got to play the ball in the perimeter very hard. It stops that pass into the low post.
Quick turnaround. 7-footer tried to drop that home. Won't happen. Board's cleared by Chase Daniel. Chase, that is, and Carson twins on this Vikings roster. How about that roll?
You got to remember, they're the #1 leading scoring team in the nation at 89 points a game. So they're going to put up some points now. They want to anyway.
Well, and we see a little more of the pace that you expect to get from this high-octane offense. Pretty good defensively as well. It's headed right back that direction.
Again, when they score, they can do what they want to do. Central, they're going to get into that defense.
They have 5 that average in double figures, so they can score. And many of them can score. There's the first bucket for Adriel Miller from the outside. Senior point guard drops it home.
Now, Northwood has to take care of the basketball. They have to limit the points they're going to score. Central's going to score. One, take care of the basketball. Don't turn it over.
5 for Adriel Miller on one end of the floor. Bucket for Elliott on the other. How about back to Miller? Another heat check as he drains the West Shore home three-pointer.
He's going to play football. He's going to play football at Lees McRae.
Are you sure?
That's hard.
After what I'm seeing, he might have a future in this game. 10 on the board.
Look at that.
8 of them belong to Miller, and it's thrown away, but it'll stay on this end. Well, you probably needed a moment to catch your breath after that start. 10-8 Vikings at the first stoppage. Back with more at Reynolds right after this. Well, you know what's in Concord, North Carolina, right? Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is an offense for Central Cabarrus that is pure speed. When that high-octane offense gets rolling, when they're clicking on all cylinders, quick point possessions, this is a team that's very hard to deal with.
And that's what they want to do. You know, the first 3 or 4 possessions, they didn't do that. But now they're getting into it. I don't even know they have an offense. They just want to take the ball to the basket. And that's why Northwood has to contain the ball on the perimeter if they're going to play a half-court defense.
Gentleman who spent his life in this game, Jim Baker, is at the helm of this Vikings program.
I've known Jim 30 years. He was the head coach at Catawba for 20, so it means he was very good. No one keeps a job for 20 years without being good. And he was assistant at Davidson when I knew him, so he's been around the block.
Trying to claim a state title. It would be the second for this squad. They won a championship in 2000 against Dudley. Just
look at the big guy inside. Big Red is
all time. Well, why not? He's got a couple of baskets already. Dribbles out. That'll eventually belong to Carson Daniel. Quick transition bucket that rims out, and it'll stay with the Vikings. Boy, how quickly they get down the floor.
Yeah, they're 5 quick guards. You know, the 2 twins, the Chase and Carson, they've already committed to, last year they committed to Catawba, a Division II school.
Yeah, both of them average double figures.
Yeah.
Carson with 10.3, Chase Daniel with 13.8, alongside 5 assists and 5 rebounds. He's a tremendous player.
Now, they only, Central only turns it over 9 times a game, which is very, very good. They just turned it over there, though. There's Drake.
Separated by a bucket. Wide open look from three-point land. Rims off.
Now they're going to have to contain him here. They can't let them drive to the basket, which he's going to try to do.
There's a 3. A West Shore home 3 for number 3. There's Jaden Thompson from outside.
Coach Baker told me he has 9 different defenses he shows. Sometimes you don't even see him.
Thompson, who just made that bucket. We highlighted him in the open. Back-to-back player of the year.
Wow, what a move by Drake.
Conference.
I mean, his young man has stopped on the dime, changed direction. Wow, is he good.
Some impressive players already. He's got some at his disposal. Here's a look at Matt Brown, who is at the helm of the crew out of Pittsburgh.
And Matt was a college coach. He coached at Pfeiffer. He was at Stanford. And he was at UNC Charlotte. So both coaches have college background, which is going to make that's why you can see a lot of different things on defense.
How about this design play on the inbound? Well executed and laid home by the big man. Max Frazier, the senior in the scorebook. Set and shoot. And shoot the lights out. That's Gavin Bullock, the senior wing, with a West Shore home three.
At 89 points a game, they might get it.
Well on their way with 16 on the board, 2 and change remaining in the opening period. Trouble just in front of that sideline, and then a foul call.
Well, Coach Baker told me he has 9 different things he could do to turn you over. He just showed one, and he said you don't see it sometimes. We'll just, one pass, we'll double team, and that's what just happened there. Well, one pass, they double team.
For all the talk about their offense, pretty good defensive squad as well.
Oh, they're all, I'll be honest with you, that's what makes their offense go. It's all defense.
Chargers. Little turnaround just inside the three-point line. How about that? Knocked down by Drake Powell. He reminds you he has some range, Coach.
Well, he's got it all. He does everything good. Now, he plays point guard for them at times. Not a point guard, but he's going to be one heck of a college player because he can play 1, 2, and 3. Let's just say 2 and 3.
Trying to lead Northwood to a first title. 5th appearance, still seeking the first title. Little kick. 3 ball from the other side. That one works just as well. Gavin Bullock from both corners, and the lead grows to 7. Ashton Elliott will bring it across the timeline. Right away. Carson Daniel off the window. This is that run and gun approach for Central Cabarrus. What did Coach Baker tell us? 2 trains, and tonight they collide. We're seeing it before our very eyes. And a foul called.
Yeah,
trying to body up over there that time was Miller.
Yeah, Coach Baker said too, what he's seen during the year, teams run into the wall after a while because they get tired. After second, third quarter, they just get tired of facing what he's thrown at them. And it should be interesting. I think Coach Brown's going to have to do something on defense, so he can't play that zone. He's leaving too many guys wide open.
The kick, there wasn't enough of a window to take a shot. How about that pesky defense from Thompson? Taken away. Could not get the inlet pass, and the Chargers have it now. Inside the final half minute of a rapidly passing opening period. Good job to wait on it and finish by Griffin Hobbs. The junior's timing was perfect.
Yeah, if Northwood stays calm, all right, just like here, the calm, keep your head up, because they're going to be trapping and coming at you, calm, and just keep your head up and look, and that's what you're going to get. But what happens is you panic, and then you turn it over.
Earned a spot.
You know what I've noticed right away?
5-2-9 free throw line, trying to pick up 3 the old-fashioned way, and he will knock it down.
Coach Baker, being in college coaching, his players are playing hard man-to-man defense on the ball, and they don't foul, and that takes a lot of practice, and you have to have some college coaching experience to get it done, too.
Just 10 seconds. This is going to leave some time, but it goes down. They're connecting from everywhere.
I know they're open. They got to make them, and they're making them.
Miller already with 11 points to lead all scorers in the game as he hits the latest of the shots for the Central Cabarrus Vikings, who will carry a 24-15 lead into the second period. Absolute sprint for the Vikings of Central Cabarrus. Off that redemption win against the 22 champs. An extra sweet regional final. They're off to a solid start here. We look at the U.S. Army numbers. What jumps off the stat sheet at you, Coach?
Central Cabarrus shooting the three-pointer is unbelievable. And Northwood, it's not up there, but they're turnovers. They're turning it over. They can't do that. They have to calm down, keep their head up, not too much dribbling, and not turn it over.
Here are the points in the paint brought to you by Riddle and Brantley. 12-6 split thus far.
Yeah, I think Northwood's going to have more points in the paint because of their size.
Certainly their MO. All those numbers brought to you by the U.S. Army. Be all you can be in the Army. GoArmy.com. Here comes Central again. On the run. Disrupted. How about the recovery there by Griffin Hobbs? Chargers in transition. And it's lost out.
That's 2 timeouts coming. There he is. Now, Jade does not have a Division I scholarship, but I have a hard time believing that because he is a winner. He plays hard. He's all over the court.
Perhaps that changes tonight. This type of stage can certainly get you noticed. Interior pass. Quick turnaround. Boy, that didn't fall. Not a bad thought for Desmond Kent Jr. They call him DJ Kent. Tallest Viking on the roster. Trying to match the size of these Chargers. Able to get some good work done inside. As Desmond Kent Jr., the tallest of the Vikings at 6'5", will drop one home. You know, I mentioned that regional final victory against the 2022 champs, the redemption win. 78-51 over West Charlotte. One of the premier moments. They carried that over here, and it's carried over on both ends of the floor.
They've been doing this all year and putting up these points.
Take another look at this block.
That's a great block. They put up stats that are hard to believe. They have 25 assists a game. Now, to give you an idea about that, Duke the other night had 27 and broke the record for the ACC most assists. But Central gets 25 average a game.
Coach, 6 times they scored 100 or more points. 6 times on the year. This is going to be a traveling violation. It will go the other way. You wondered what would give tonight because 6 times they scored 100 or more. Just that many. 6 times Northwood held an opponent under 30. Now that's a remarkable stat. Under 30. 6 times. A battle for pace. Early returns to the Chargers, though this free ball is a bit off. Nobody able to gather the handle up initially. Back to Miller. I'll say it again. Miller already in double figures. He has 11, wearing jersey number 14. A 3 from the corner. Too short. And now, speaking of short, here come the tall trees for the Chargers, but a little miscommunication is thrown away.
That's the 3rd turnover this quarter.
Flying in there. The tip, well, was it on the rim? It was. Goaltending going to be called as Paris tried to pull it off there.
See, Central spreading. They put all their guys in the perimeter, and then Northwood's got to come out and play them. And those big guys are not used to coming out on the wings, and all of a sudden the guys are going right by them. So it's going to be hard. Northwood's got to come up with something to stop this.
If it is a battle for pace, and it is, early returns trending Central Cabarrus. Vikings lead at 28-15 mid-second. 28-15 the split. Central Cabarrus as advertised up and down the floor here at Reynolds Coliseum. Coach, Desmond Kent Jr. perhaps a little more in the spotlight because he's got the size on the Vikings side of things, trying to spot up against so many of these tall trees in the interior for the Chargers. He scored 4 points already and is holding his own.
In a minute, he took a jump shot and they put the ball back in there. You know, offensively, Northwood just got to calm down. They know what's coming at them. Just calm down and don't throw the ball away. They've gotten 3 turnovers here in 3 minutes.
Well, they want to play a half-court offense. But Central Cabarrus.
And here comes a different defense. It's going to come at them. And first pass could be a trap. Here we go. It's a zone. It's something. It's a zone.
Showing a different look out of the timeout. And there's the size advantage on display as Parrish now has 6. That's what you have to do, right? If you're Northwood, that's got to happen all night long.
And Central can't play a half-court defense like they just did either. Now they've come out. Northwood's taken their zone and they pushed it out, which is good. They pushed it out, covering the wings better.
That was Desmond Kent Jr. again. This turnaround did not go. Elliott.
The mismatch Jr. inside.
Yeah, trying to find a way to get it.
Now they got it. They got Desmond.
Ends up with a wide open look on the side. Free ball. Cam Fowler, the freshman, matches his jersey number. That's a West Shore home 3 for Fowler. Much needed for the Chargers now within 8.
They're in a 2-1-2 defense.
Parrish and Frazier anchoring the inside. Cabarrus content to shoot it from the outside. Central Cabarrus has it off the mark. This is gathered up by Elliott. We're talking about the two bigs, Coach. Parrish and Frazier, they combined for 11-plus rebounds and 1.5 blocks per game.
Oh, they're big guys, too. They're big and they're good. And they don't have Division I offers, and I think both of them have the ability to play at the Division I level.
They're working together on cue, and it results in a bucket.
Central offensively now has to get back to what they were doing against the zone before. Not just shooting, they were driving on it. And they've been standing around too much. They need to take it in there.
8 for Parrish. We're going to have to track the assist numbers now. That was a nice one for Frazier.
They got to make those because they have no rebounders.
Well, we're moments away from the United Health Center's halftime report. We'll have a special interview with the commissioner of the North Carolina High School Athletic Association. First half highlights, a whole lot more. United Health Center's halftime report, building healthier communities. And Coach, there is some discussion about possession right here.
I missed it. I didn't see.
Let's see if we can provide another look. Walk us through this.
Oh, yes. It's definitely out of Northwood. Was that on Drake?
Able to snatch one away here. Obviously no replay in high school athletics.
Watch how calm he is. He has a great feel for the game. Really great feel for the game.
Stop, pop, a little too strong. How about the cleanup work? Won't go down, however, for Parrish.
The Central's got to get back into driving into the zone, go into the gaps, try to create something, get some foul trouble.
The lead having shrunk to 6. And a traveling violation. That'll turn it over. You have to give credit to Northwood for weathering the early storm. And here they are, Coach, down 6 with the basketball.
Well, you know, and Coach, at that timeout, it changed defenses. Went to a 2-1-2, closed up the middle, and that's really put some pressure on Central.
Fans wanting a foul as Carson Daniel tries to pester the ball handler. And a foul will be called underneath on the push. Trying to say, I don't think so with Chase Daniel, but he will be whistled for the violation.
During this game, watch Central's guards, how their feet move so fast. That's a college coach teaching them how to take small steps. It takes a while to teach that, but they really pressure the ball hard on the perimeter. Central does.
You're seeing college athletes everywhere tonight.
Man.
Trying to get to the rim, just enough disruption. How about the job to keep that alive by Frazier? Still hanging in there. And eventually laid home by Pop. He has been wowing them all season long. And the near 20-point per contest scorer, Drake Powell, has his latest basket.
Now they're in it. I don't think they're all confused what defense they're in. Now they're in a 2-3.
Zip the pass down to Chase Daniel. Hard to the hoop goes Desmond Kent Jr., and he picks up the foul. Let's go back through that recent sequence. Look at Powell.
What a great rebound. What a great rebound. What a specimen. What a big-time player he could be.
7 rebounds per contest alongside that 18
He's going to be able to play 4 different positions in college.
Yeah, nearly averages a double-double in high school. We'll see how well that translates. A Hardee's free throw coming. We haven't told you yet about our friends at Hardee's. You know about the made-from-scratch biscuits. They want to remind you about the Black Angus Beef Thick Burger. Hardee's, feed your happy. If you got a seat in here tonight, if you found a spot in the building, you have fed your happy as the Hardee's free throw is set to go down. And it'll rattle down for Desmond Kent Jr.
You know,
Coach, before the game's over with, we will have our play of the game. That's the Talk It Out NC play of the game. Start the conversation. Reduce underage drinking. That's Talk It Out NC. Second Hardee's free throw, also true.
You know, coming into the game, I felt that coaching adjustments, what they're going to do is going to be a big factor. And right now it is. Northwood's changed their defense. It's helped them out. And Central keeps changing everything up. They keep changing every time.
Corralled over there by Layton. Looking for help up top. Here's Hobbs. That almost went up and down, but here come the Vikings. Looked like that caromed off of Ashton Elliott. And substitution coming as Northwood will send Drake Powell back in after a brief breather.
Yeah, real brief.
Yeah, that was quick. And despite the 11 he scored so far, that one off the mark. Cam Fowler standing by at the scorer's table as well. He'll be in next whistle. And a traveling violation going to be called on Powell. Well, we will have our myspot.nc.gov player of the game selection before the contest is done. A reminder to stick around so you can find out who is going to be the myspot.nc.gov player of the game.
You know what I just saw there was Drake at the end of this game. He can go one-on-one, do what he wants to do to win a game. He's capable of doing that. That's going to hurt at the end of the game if it's close. He's capable of taking this thing over.
Put that away in the back of your mind if it stays tight to the closing stanza. 1 minute, 7 seconds remaining in the opening half. This is crunch time. Coaches talk about the last couple of minutes of the first half. The first couple of minutes of the second half. What do you expect to see here, Coach?
Well, Central's going to, I'd like to see them drive like they did at the beginning. They're going to end up taking jump shots because that's about all they're going to get in there.
Well, there is one. And it'll fall. Desmond Kent Jr. with another bucket.
He's come off the bench, and I think he's got at least 5 shots already.
Well,
three mades.
He's already got 8 points. 3 for 6 from the floor. Inside the final minute. Enough of a window to take a shot. How about that length to pull down the rebound? And the two big men work together. And they will wave this off as trying to gather it back up. Keenan Parrish ended up taking a step before the shot.
Yeah, I think that's a good call because he turned around and went up and he hit the rim. He didn't know the rim was that close and he came down, so it's a walk.
Final half minute in an 8-point game.
They got to drive to those gaps. They have to get closer in there. There you go.
Thompson. Wow. Over the trees in the heart of the lane.
They can't rely on those long shots. That's the way to do it.
That was Desmond Kent Jr. again.
And here goes Drake. This is what we're talking about.
Foul out top. They'll get the touch foul charged on Chase Daniel. How about this, Coach? 11 points for Miller in the first half. 10 points for Kent Jr. already in this first half.
Now here we go.
Closing seconds. Can he beat the horn?
This is what I was talking about.
Top of the key. True. The final shot of the half. A gutsy and true delivery from Drake Powell. And these teams are separated by 8 as they head to the locker room. We'll come back, have the halftime report. A whole lot of visuals coming for you, a number of interviews, and on the backside, we'll give you the numbers, but everything you could want out of the 3A title game thus far.
The United Health Center's halftime report. High-quality health care regardless of insurance status.
How's it going, everybody? I'm Nelson Weston. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to the state championship high school basketball games. Who better to join us than our long-standing good friend from Ingalls Markets, Melissa Lovell. Melissa, always a pleasure to see you, my friend.
I'm so happy to be here with you. It's championship day.
It's championship day indeed. And speaking of which now, Ingalls Markets, y'all provided robust community support, not just for right now, but also for a long, long time now. What inspires y'all to want to frequently get back to high school athletics?
Well, this is our community, and these students are our children and the children of our shoppers. And we do this in a community sense for everything. So we live, work, and shop in these same communities where our stores are. So we're really enriching our whole community by being part of all the things that matter to the families that shop with us.
That is terrific work indeed. And speaking of the community and the students, you guys are also famous for y'all's remarkable Tools for Schools program. What is that program all about? And furthermore, how can the good folks at home get started with it today?
Well, the program is designed to help teachers, classrooms, students, and principals get school supplies in the classroom to the students and not have to take that money out of their own pocket and bring this to the school. Easy as pie to get in. Go get your Ingalls Advantage card, link it to the school of your choice. Every time you shop, you're helping that school.
Speaking of pie, you know, I'm getting hungry as we speak. Today is game day. What are some of those delicious food items we can pick up from the Ingalls Deli today?
Oh, right. Well, first roll in and get your fuel so you're on your way to the game, and then get a sub and some fried chicken. Eat on your way.
Sounds delicious indeed. Always a pleasure to see you, my friend. All right, folks, time to get back to the game. We'll see you soon.
You're watching the United Health Center's halftime report. High quality health care regardless of insurance status.
Here with North Carolina High School Athletic Association Commissioner Q. Tucker. Commissioner Tucker, state championship weekend is always exciting.
Yes, it is a big week for us. It's one of those weeks we look forward to every year about this time, and it's hard to believe that we are sitting on the edge of crowning state champions.
What goes into the preparation for such a large state championship?
The closer we get to seeing who the actual participants are, then we start to look at the times and start to look at ticket allocations and how all of that works, especially now that we're into this age of digital ticketing, just making sure that all the schools know how to inform their participants, et cetera.
We've seen headlines this year indicating numerous behavior issues across the state. How have you addressed those concerns?
I don't anticipate that we'll see that this weekend, because this is like the cherry on top of the basketball season. And so everyone really should be about playing at their best level. And then what we want the spectators to do, because that seems to be where the issues have arisen this year, spectators feeling as though that ticket I bought gives me the right to just do anything I want to in the stands or in the bleachers, or say whatever I want to. So we'll have messages that announcements that will be made on Saturday to try to address some of that and hopefully stem that kind of behavior that could occur.
What are the ongoing challenges facing the association?
Jane, we still deal with this whole issue of declining numbers in officiating. We had a committee last summer who studied the situation here in North Carolina, and one of the things that came out of the board meeting was to give a pay increase across the board to all officials. So as we address that, we're trying to do creative things. One of the things that we do is that any new official who says, hey, I want to join the officiating ranks, then we waive some of those registration fees. We're looking at trying to come up with an opportunity for our officials to perhaps get some grant monies to be able to help, let's say, in terms of educational development. We try to address health and safety, mental health issues. All of those are on the table. So we have just a myriad of opportunities, I'll say, to make a difference in the lives of all of the students who participate in our program. And we think education-based athletics is still the best thing going. It's the best dropout prevention program there is. And we just continue to dig our heels in and try to do everything we can.
We appreciate your time, Commissioner Tucker, and thank you for everything you do for high school sports.
Well, an 8-point lead with a fresh 8 minutes just about to go up on the third quarter game clock. But before we get back to this fast-paced action, let's take a look back at the first half of action. You're going to see a whole lot of Miller on the Vikings side of things.
Yep. Early on, he was something else. He took the ball to the basket, then he just spotted up, took 3 threes, and then at the just before the half, there's another one. And that's what they were doing early on. They were making them, and it was really putting Northwood behind. But now it's going back. Now it's Drake. Now Drake's going to be inside, outside. He's just a big-time player.
Well, you think about the shot he made to end the half, Coach.
He can create his own shot at any time. Look at that. He's supposed to be playing guard. I don't know what he's doing inside, doing that stuff.
Let's take a look at the U.S. Army stats through one half of action. What are you keeping an eye on? What are you tracking numbers-wise?
Well, you know what? Central Cabarrus started out shooting threes, but then they started missing. I think they should drive, try to keep getting. If they're going to get a three, drive and kick it back out. And Northwood now is calmed down. I think they're ready to not turn it over so much. It says here they only had 10 turnovers. But I tell you, I'm keeping my own record. I had down 16 turnovers. You know, and it might be more than 16. So I think they're ready to just not turn it over anymore. It's going to be a nice second half.
Yeah, still very much in it. Those are your United States Army stats. Be all that you can be in the U.S. Army. GoArmy.com, where you can find out a whole lot more. We got a whole lot more basketball coming. This one unsettled at the intermission. Just waiting for basketball to start back. That's about all. One more set of numbers to take a glance at before we get rolling in the second half. That, of course, our points in the paint, which we have been tracking throughout for you, and all of our points in the paint across the course of this contest, brought to you by Riddle and Brantley. When justice counts, call Riddle and Brantley. You knew Northwood was going to dominate this category. Points in the paint. They have a +8 advantage. The question is going to be, how many half-court sets can they create down the stretch in this contest? Because the half-court game obviously favors all that size. When Central Cabarrus is able to run, it makes all the difference in the world. What do you see happening adjustment-wise entering the third quarter, Coach?
Well, first of all, Central's got to get back to making baskets. They were 0 for 5 in the last 3, so they have to start taking the ball inside, which they did the last 2 possessions of the half. Because if they don't score, they can't run their full-court pressure. And if they can't run their full-court pressure, they can't play Northwood in a half-court game. They're going to get beat inside.
What's better than best on best? You know, this is a matchup some folks thought we might see a year ago. We get it here in 2023. You got 2 of the best coaches in the state. You got 2 different styles of basketball colliding with one another. I'll go back to Coach Jim Baker's comment about the 2 trains. They have certainly collided tonight, and this one's still very much in doubt.
You got the bigs against the smalls and the smalls against the bigs.
It's what basketball has battled it out over for generations, and we'll see who comes out on top in this struggle for pace. Back underway in the third quarter of action. First possession to Central. Down the left side. That won't work out for Miller. The putback's not true, and this is eventually corralled by Jake Layton, the junior. Again, they want those half-court sets. They can be lengthy. They don't mind extended possessions, and this is a key possession for the Chargers. Boy, weaving through, and he lays it home. There's Drake Powell again. All right, beside of me, I have the gentleman responsible for Lethal Weapon 3. Now, I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about that Georgia Tech run in the 90s. You recruited those guys, Anderson and company, who made that run, and you've been wowed by the athletic ability of Drake Powell so far in this one tonight. Break down what he's done so
He's
far.
a big-time player. He can do everything good, and he's going to be a very, very good player. If he works hard, he's an NBA prospect.
Easy to see why the
has a great feel for the game. Look at him handle the ball.
Easy to see why the calls already come from the ACC. Goes back in his hands right now. Puts it on the floor. Such length, such confidence as he rises tall. Boy, can he elevate.
Well, I mean, if he's going to do that, there's nobody else who can stop him. They're not going to be able to stop him. We're going to have to go double him, get the ball out of his hands.
Just as we're talking about him, Drake Powell reminds everybody what a prospect he is. On cue, knocks down a bucket. He's in double figures with 12. To the corner. Central with a 3 that rims out. What a battle in the interior. Chase Daniel giving you everything he has right there.
Yeah, that's it. They should have got that rebound, but
another look at that rebound you were talking about, Coach.
That's just guts. That's just guts.
It was the 6'1" guy who came away with the chance at the free throw line, and he will roll the first of the Hardys free throws around, and it goes down. 7-point game. It may surprise you that you're looking at the leading rebounder on that squad, but he has been, as you said, gutsy tonight. Here's a quick takeaway by Carson Daniel. The Daniel twins effective for Central in the last several moments, but it is Chargers basketball. Little open real estate. And rising up to bring that down is Jaden Thompson. Pushes it up the floor. Now he trails, and Thompson will start it and then finish it.
And here they go. They get right into that pressure. This is where now they're keeping the ball out of Drake's hand. What a great move by Coach Baker. Don't let him have the ball, because those first two possessions when he got it, he scored.
By the way, next level talent, number 3, not committed yet. Keep that in mind. Thought about that shot, maybe the most recent in the back of his mind. He doesn't mind to take one. That is a 3 ball. And Drake Powell lets them know. And he is going to be teed up for letting them know, or either the bench won, as we got a technical on the far side. Well, there was a little extra from Powell on the end of that, Coach. And then you saw the official turn to that Northwood bench, and the technical foul has been assessed. So a chance for Central Cabarrus to create a little separation.
Well, Elijah Ford on Central was suspended the first half here because he did the same thing at West Mecklenburg. He put a sign, I made a 3, and did a sign to the bench, so they suspended him. And he just got a technical. I think Drake just got one for giving a taunting. I don't know what it was.
Well, the free throws go down. Connecting on those is Jaden Thompson and the basketball. And just when Northwood was making a charge, that is a costly technical foul as Central Cabarrus creates a little separation again.
Eliminate the points they can score. All they want to do is score a lot of points, so you have to eliminate all the little possibilities.
And obviously the basketball belonging to the Vikings as well, but only for a moment. Traveling violation, and it is back to the Chargers.
You know, a turnover there is not what they wanted, but at least they can get in their full court pressure defense right now. And they need to keep the ball out of Drake's hand. They don't need him to have that ball. There he goes.
Works his way right through traffic in the midcourt. And then the foul call is assessed.
Well, that was a good call, but he really got fouled at half court.
Whistle comes at the 4:50 mark instead. Deficit right where it was at the half. And that's going to go against the Chargers.
Yeah, that was a good call. The big guy pushed off.
There are ways to create separation. And this one is going to cost Northwoods. The Northwood Chargers at 33, Central Cabarrus at 41, and we've got 4.5 to go in the third. Such touch from Chase Daniel. He averages, as we said, right at 14 per contest, and Chase Daniel already with 5 in this one.
As Chase Daniels was playing their center. He was their center in that situation.
A little bit too much. You know what Parrish wanted. He wanted the foul right there. It did not come.
Good containment. They have to contain the ball. They can't let them get in there.
The lead at 10, that would be 13 instead. The board grabbed by Parrish.
They'd much rather have them shoot threes than drive to the basket.
Chase Daniel drops it in.
Yeah, they have to take care of the basketball.
Did we mention quick point possessions? When this group is efficient and they start to run, look out, and it'll mean a timeout on the floor with 3.5 remaining in the third. Central Cabarrus stretching the lead out. They now have a double figures advantage in the 3A title game. What state championship basketball is all about. 400 men's teams, 400 women's teams started the year. 16 left today. Reynolds seats 5,100 now. The reconfigured Reynolds Coliseum that once seated 12,500. All 5,100 seats sold. They added a few more of the standing room variety in the midweek. Every one of those tickets sold out in just an hour. That's how many eyes wanted to be on this basketball game, and Coach, it has not disappointed.
No, and there's a lot of talent out there. And right now, Northwood just has to take care of the basketball.
It's an unfruitful possession. Here come the Vikings. The latest chapter of history in this amazing building, Reynolds Coliseum, as we work through the third. You've had a tremendous amount of personal history in this building,
yes,
coaching in those ACC contests. What memories stand out when you look across this arena and you see Valvano's name and you think about that Wolfpack logo on the floor and just looking up into the rafters of this building? What comes to mind?
Well, you know, when I sit here and look over there, I'm thinking about Jimmy Valvano and where he was over there when their bench was always to the right. And I think about Jimmy.
What a character. And what an impact on this game and life. And what an impact this is going to be. Max Frazier rises up and jams it home.
Look how smart the Central team is. They're not going to force the ball. They don't turn it over. I think they have 5 turnovers so far. So they're going to take care of it. And that's an NBA 3.
NBA 3. You read my mind. I'm thinking the same thing. Quick push ahead. Wide open. And trying to get as close as possible. Little teardrop. That works out beautifully. Laid home by Griffin Hobbs. And you look up, all of a sudden, it's back in single digits with 2 to play in the third.
Wow.
Now, we haven't heard from him in a little bit, but that's Desmond Kent Jr., who had 10 points in the first half. He now has a bucket in the second half.
He's another college prospect. He's a nice player. He's only a junior, 6'5", and he is definitely a college prospect.
In the spotlight because of his size, as we said, when you think about what's opposite him in those Northwood jerseys. Northwood, bucket. Speaking of size, there's the 7-footer laying home a couple. It is a 8-point game again with under 90 seconds to play in the third.
You know what? I think it would be better those guys scoring than it would be for Drake Powell to score. I really do. I'd rather see the big guys. For Central, I think they'd rather not see Powell score and let the other guys do it.
Powell zips this ahead. That's taken away. Carson Daniel disrupts.
That wasn't a good decision to try to shoot the ball on Powell.
Final minute of the third, using all that size, and the foul is going to be drawn by Keenan Parrish. All right, 47-39, and this is going to work into the line as the contact comes. Coach, that is just...
He's got to go up there and make these two, right? He's got to make it.
At the Hardy's free throw line. The big man a little short on this free throw. We will have our player of the game presented by myspot.nc.gov coming up at the conclusion of tonight's contest. You'll want to stick around for the myspot.nc.gov player of the game. Second Hardy's free throw coming. This would make it a 7-point contest if Keenan Parrish can connect. Parrish off the mark again. Leaves a couple on the table, and here comes Central again.
They're going to be patient.
3. Big rebound right there for Hobbs. Doesn't matter. Taken right back until it's eventually cleared by Parrish. Final half minute of the third.
That shot was taken by Elijah Ford. He was the one that was suspended, number 22.
That's going to be offensive as Keenan Parrish leaned in trying to find a bucket, and that is going to be a third on Keenan Parrish with 23 seconds to play, and he'll come off for the remainder of the third period. A reminder, we'll also have our play of the game. Start the conversation, reduce underage drinking. That's the challenge from Talk It Out NC. And they will bring you the Talk It Out NC play of the game at the conclusion of the 3A title game. What a day it's been. 3 title winners already.
Northwood's changed their team. They've moved it out.
And 10 seconds remaining in the third as we go after the fourth. They're going to say he stepped on the end line. And with 8 seconds remaining, it will be Chargers ball. What do you do right here with 8 seconds if you're the Chargers trying to take a bite out of an 8-point lead?
I get the ball into Drake Powell's hand.
It sounds like a pretty good idea.
He's taking the ball out of bounds.
He makes it a no-brainer, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's simple. Give it back to him.
Future Tar Heels up the floor with it. Oh. Behind the back. Loses the handle. And just ahead of the horn, it rolls off the front of the rim. The lead holds steady at 8. Well, after another quarter of basketball, we're right where we were. An 8-point lead, and 8 is the operative number. 8 minutes remaining to determine a state champion on the other side of the break. Well, you got one group of fans screaming, speed it up. You got another group of fans screaming, slow it down. That's certainly what the benches would like to do in these two opposing foes in the 3A title game. What do the numbers tell you, Coach?
Well, Northwood's shooting a high percentage field goals, but they're going to get high percentage shots because they're inside. Central's missed the last 10 3-pointers. They need to keep trying to get the ball inside, but go up and down. They have to full court press. Because I think Northwood, if they keep the ball in Drake's hand, they're not going to turn it over so much.
Those are U.S. Army stats. You mentioned the good work inside. You know which way that trends, but take a look at this in terms of points in the paint all of a sudden.
Yeah, and those are the rebounds and layups.
Final 8 minutes of the high school basketball season in 2023. And it starts with an 8-point lead for the Speedsters from Central Cabarrus. Vikings undefeated, a perfect 31-0. Can they make it 32? And this will fall off the iron. And a foul called as Keenan Parrish is trying to get away.
When Drake gets the ball in the low post there, he can't be unselfish. He needs to take that guy right to the hoop. They passed the ball in there and he kicked the ball back out. He needs to take it.
Should mention this about Northwood. We haven't really talked about it, but just a single loss to North Carolina opponents this year. Yes, there are the losses on the roster, but only one in state. And this is off the iron. Follow won't go. The rebound pulled down by Miller, who had a tremendous first quarter. If you're wondering about it, it was Cannon, 74-64 back in December, the only loss to a North Carolina squad for the Northwood team on the year. It is the Vikings with the basketball right now, under 7. What do you see?
Yeah, Northwood's going to have to do something because they're going to wear out the clock here. They're going to just take the clock down.
And a foul as he goes up. Oh, that's not going to serve him well, as we're going to have a technical foul. Well, you could see it brewing inside of Keenan Parrish for the last little while, Coach, that he felt like a number of fouls weren't called. Here he thought he cleanly snatched the basketball away, but you're never going to get away with slamming it to the floor at the end of the play. There's what he thought was a clean takeaway, and then this is the moment that ended up in a technical foul.
Yeah, was the foul on him or was it on his teammate? Because his teammate fouled him. The teammate who was playing him fouled.
We know who the technical foul is on at this point as it goes his direction.
But Northwood's not good. They can't sit back in that zone because they're going to wear out the time. Central's going to wear out the time.
So a technical foul on Parrish after a foul. And it's now you begin to track that, Coach. He's sitting here with 4 fouls now, which becomes a major storyline with 6:44 left to go in the game. last thing you want to see in a scenario like this. But one of the key contributors, one of the key pieces in the interior for Northwood, suddenly in some major trouble here.
Yeah, you're going to have to get his composure. The whole team, the whole team's around him. He just has to get his composure.
There may be some discussion. You talked about that original foul and who it was on.
Who they call
it looks like a discussion continues by our officiating crew at the moment. Again, you have the common foul first, and then after that, the disappointment bubbling over on the basketball slam to the deck and a technical foul that follows. And these are the shots as a result of the technical foul. They'll be taken by Elijah Ford, the senior. First one good. The NC 529 free throws that may very well allow Central Cabarrus to pull back out front by double digits. He knocks them both down. Possession stays with the Vikings. And like I said, couple more free throws here first, because you had the common foul, as we mentioned, and then you had the technical foul. So Elijah Ford going to keep on shooting for a while, and he's making every one of these in a key moment, helping his team start to pull away.
And he's the one that he could play in the first half, so he didn't play at all.
He made 3 out of the 4, and the basketball stays with the Vikings. What a turn of events at the 6:44 mark.
Really big time thing. Now here comes Northwood. They're coming out. They're going to have to man. They're going to have to man them. It's going to be hard, though.
The lead now 11 with under 7 left in the state title game.
But they went small. Northwood went small so they could play some man-to-man.
Parrish obviously now on the bench with those 4 fouls. Max Frazier comes out. Zipping a pass out top. He was going to shoot that from the K. Yao designation. Yeah, didn't pull the trigger. Quick turnaround. Thompson. That's rejected. Stays with Central. How weird is it to see this Vikings team, so known for their run and gun approach, sit on the basketball as much as possible to allow precious minutes to roll off that game clock.
Coach Baker's doing what he has to do to win.
For all the talk about pace, there's a championship on the line now, and a foul as Drake Powell comes up to finally contest it at the logo.
You know, I wish the state of North Carolina would put the shot clock in. In most every state, I was in New York last week watching high school games. They all have the shot clock, and it just, you know, why not do it?
Not a part of it in the Carolinas, in the high school ranks, the shot clock, so you can find a way to shorten the basketball game if you can maintain possession, certainly in the mind of this crew right now. That was a 7th team foul, so
it'd be hard to take the ball away from Central because they play 5 guards.
Yep.
So you know, they take care of the basketball.
So the 7th team foul, just to say, obviously the 1-and-1 in effect now. The first one good. Second one goes off the front of the rim, but in the bonus now, this Vikings crew, and in command, 51-39. Taking it to the hoop, and it is turned aside by Desmond Kent Jr. He's had a pretty good night for the Vikings.
They play hard. Every one of them plays so hard.
Another look at this, Coach. Walk us through it.
It's a nice junior, nice player.
Rising above and knocking that home is Drake Powell when they had to have a bucket.
Not a bad play there either. He has to touch the ball. That's the first shot he's taken in a while.
Cuts it to 10.
This is what they got to do. This is what they got to do.
Somehow gathered up by Central. Kent Jr. And then back out top, Carson Daniel, one of the Daniel twins. Both factors in this one tonight as well.
Boy, they smart. Boy, they have composure. Well coached.
And this is the story. And then a bucket for Desmond Kent Jr. at the end of it. And now a sense of urgency from the Chargers. as the lead grows back to 12. That's all day long for Drake Powell.
Central will live with that. They don't want to. That's what they're doing. They'll create easy baskets like that. But most of the time, they're stealing it before they shoot the ball.
And again, that was Max Frazier there, I should say, able to drive that home. So a couple of buckets in response. And at the 4.5-minute mark, the lead 10. Well, these fans, they've been waiting for a long time. Some of them more than a year that thought perhaps this battle was going to happen. To see the Vikings and the Chargers collide, they have entertained a sold-out Reynolds Coliseum. Into the fourth quarter, 4:31 left to play. The lead is 10. And Drake Powell continues to impress for the Chargers of Northwood, keeping hope alive for his squad, even if the perfect Vikings remain in control on the scoreboard right now.
He's got to come out just like they did at the fourth quarter, and he's got to take the ball and take it on his own.
He has 17. Parrish has 10. They're the leading scorers, but Parrish sitting with 4 fouls. For Central, Cabarrus, 11 for Miller, most of those early, 10 for Thompson, and Kent Jr. leading the way. Desmond Kent Jr. with 14. Little keep away.
Yeah, Central's going to be hard to beat because they're well coached. Well coached.
Well, all that time taken, and it ends for the second straight possession on a bucket by Desmond Kent Jr. It's just deflating. 3 won't go. Big time rebound in there by Carson Daniel.
They're going to have to go man-to-man in trap. They can't go a zone trap. It's not going to work. It's not going to work.
12-point lead with the basketball. How about this takeaway? Griffin Hobbs able to punch it aside. Jake Layton looks across. Here's a 3. Bodies on the floor. It's a little consequence for a West Shore Home three-pointer that is knocked down. West Shore Home, the most admired home remodeling brand in America, and that was pretty admirable, that trip down. The lead 11.
I just watched them just take Drake Powell to the floor and no call. I mean, they were all over him. There should have been a call. He was away from the ball, though.
It was double digits that cut it to 55-46. Northwood just down 9 with 2:45 to play. Huge West Shore Home 3 from Griffin Hobbs. And you're left with little to do but that at this point.
There's not much you can do. You played against good, solid players, guards. All can handle the basketball.
Well, we're
in fact, every one of those kids will probably play Division II basketball in college.
We're in the wrong building, and it's the other side from Drake Powell, but it looks a lot like the Four Corners offense at times
exactly.
now, as things have been shut down. The old Dean Smith days at UNC happening in this NC State building, no less. It is a little keep away happening, and then if they can make these free throws, Coach, down the stretch, this is going to be tough sledding for Northwood to battle back.
Now Drake's got to take this full court on by himself. Go get it back, give it back to him.
Just across the timeline, they do get it in his hands, or into the hands, I should say, up forward of Frazier. And the call's going to go the other way.
Yeah.
What do you see here, Coach? Tough.
Yeah, it's a tough call. That was a tough call.
Inbound to Carson Daniel. Pestering defense. And the foul is called.
Oh, they called a foul. I didn't think they called a foul. They did.
They did call the foul, and in the bonus, it will mean free throw shooting is coming. Well, when all this shakes out, we will have our play of the game brought to you by Talk It Out NC. Start the conversation, reduce underage drinking. That's the challenge from Talk It Out, North Carolina. Carson Daniel to the line. He has 4 points in the game as he makes this NC 5-2-9 free throw. Carson Daniel with 4. Chase Daniel with 7. As we said, Thompson 10, Miller 11, Kent Jr. 16. Those the leaders for this very balanced Vikings squad.
And what they've done on defense is unbelievable. They play this hard defense, and because they move their feet so well, they don't commit fouls. They don't foul. And that's all, give all the credit to Coach Baker and how he teaches it.
Well, you said journeyman in this game for a lifetime and trying to complete a perfect campaign here in 2023. 3 ball. Off the mark. 2 minutes remaining in the state championship game. Vikings in control at the moment. And a foul called out near the top. A reminder, we also have another superlative coming up in just a bit, the myspot.nc.gov player of the game. And when you talk candidates, you got to look at the effort of Desmond Kent Jr. You think about what he's done. We talked about he would be in the spotlight due to the size of Northwood. He's the leading scorer with 16. He's pulled down 4 rebounds, also has 3 blocks in this basketball game. He's been good. At the line right now, Carson Daniel, he's true. If they keep making those free throws, Coach, it's about salting away a championship.
Yeah, you know what? I keep saying get the ball to Drake, but it's very obvious they don't do that. They haven't done it during the year, and Drake, being unselfish, he doesn't go after it like he should. But that's because they don't do that stuff. They're not going to understand it.
Goes after the rebound there, doesn't quite come away with it. Uses his length to keep this possession alive. And then there is a West Shore home 3 ball knocked down by Cam Fowler. There's a freshman making a major contribution late. Keeps hope alive for the moment as it pulls this crew back within 11, but time wearing thin with just 94 seconds to play.
Yeah, I think the only thing Northwood can do now is foul. They got to foul right away. If they want to do it, just make it back to the foul line. Hope they miss, come down.
You got to hope for some missed free throws at this point.
Because if they don't, they're going to wear out the clock. We're just going to wear the clock out.
When you put in perspective what we've seen tonight, what are your takeaways? Let's take it side by side. If you're in that huddle for Northwood, what are your takeaways from the effort we have seen from the Chargers in this one?
Northwood, they played so hard. They kept the game in low-scoring game, which they wanted to do. Everything was in their favor. Turnovers, taking care of the basketball. And like I just said, Drake Powell obviously doesn't go one-on-one and take control of this team. He did it a few times, but it's not something they're accustomed to, and that's why he's not doing it.
You know they're so good inside. We've been tracking points in the paint all night, brought to you by Riddle and Brantley. But partially because of the work of Kent Jr. on the inside, that's a category that's even, Coach.
That's exactly why because of Kent Jr. That's exactly why they're even in there, because he's been scoring.
Thanks to the friends at Riddle and Brantley. When justice counts, call Riddle and Brantley, taking care of our points in the paint, and to the U.S. Army for all of our stats across the course of the night. Be all that you can be in the U.S. Army. GoArmy.com. These 2 schools have been all they could be this year. It was best on best coming in tonight. Those, as Coach Baker said it, trains have collided. His team right now in a prime spot, leading at 60-49 with just over 90 seconds to play. I'll ask you on the flip side now, Central Cabarrus in prime positioning. What are the major things you remember about this effort so far for the Vikings?
Defensively, they didn't lose their cool. They didn't lose the cool when they get down early. They didn't do that, but defensively, they are so relentless. And it's very important right now, though. They can't turn this ball over, and they can't make that coffin corner pass they just did and get trapped in that corner. So they got, and I think as they come out of this timeout, this pass out of bounds, I don't think it's going to go to the corner.
As it sits right now, it's a minute 32 away from an absolute eruption from the Vikings faithful who have made the 124-mile journey over from Concord, North Carolina.
There he did. So they came out of it. They didn't even send anybody to that corner. It's such good coaching.
Press broken.
Such good coaching.
There'll be a bucket on the other end. Miller lays it home. And they are starting to sense it. Take away. Gavin Bullock.
He tried to do the same pass he made earlier.
And now they'll slow it up. It's in Thompson's hands. Now down to Miller. Final minute of action and a foul at the 1 minute mark even, and they rise to their feet, getting ready to celebrate a second title all time and an undefeated season for the Vikings.
That's what you call a team effort right there. No one player did anything. A player off the bench got more points than anybody.
Well, they didn't score 100 for the 7th time tonight, but they did dictate pace when they had to, Coach.
They dictated the game. They really did.
Valiant effort by this Chargers squad, the champions out of the East. They gave you everything you'd want in 2023.
How they played the game. They hard. They panicked, turned it over. They had 19 turnovers going to this quarter. You know, I knew this game was going to be some type of defensive battle because I didn't know how anybody was going to play each other. Because the big guys, how are they going to play the small guys? How are the small guys going to play the big guys?
Karam's off, stays with Northwood. A late bucket for the Chargers as Max Frazier lays it home. Talk about the big guys. Frazier ends up with 8 at this point, 17 for Powell, 10 for Parrish. Let's take a look at our play of the game. And, Coach, it's a little bit of finesse on this one.
It is, Bullock. This is Central at their best. They stole the ball, came down, and right there, Jaden Bullock's pass, Kevin Bullock's pass is tremendous.
And then a finish for Jaden Thompson, the senior, and a couple of seniors working together there for our Talk It Out NC play of the game.
And that was them at their best. Going hard, giving the ball up, and Bullock just tried to do the same pass again, and he turned it over.
One of the many snapshots and one of the many postcards that this edition of the Vikings are going to leave their fans with. We talked about it, the redemption win against the 22 champs West Charlotte. 78-51 was extra sweet in the regional final, but there's nothing like a state title, and they're closing in on one. Miller, understanding the moment, dribbles that right back out top.
That's the football play.
You keep telling us that. We're not so sure. And he will be fouled out top. And that is going to be a 5th on Max Frazier. And they embrace near the midcourt. Members of this Vikings basketball team 30 seconds away. Just a half minute now from the title.
Now think about what they've done. They did it with all guards. And he even calls the 6'5" kid a guard. He calls him a guard too. So they've done all this with 7 guards the whole season.
And you mentioned the 6'5" kid, of course, referencing Desmond Kent Jr.,
Desmond.
who is going to end up being the leading scorer, it would seem. He's got 18. He was 8 of 11 from the field, and he had some key buckets when Northwood was making runs from time to time. And I'll highlight that stat one more time. You know what else Desmond Kent Jr. had, Coach? All 3 blocks for this Central Cabarrus squad.
And he came off the bench.
18 off the bench. 4 rebounds. A trio of blocks. Final half minute.
Central hasn't quit.
Well, will there be another Drake Powell bucket? That one just short of one. He may end with 17 because they are standing in Reynolds Coliseum to celebrate a Vikings championship. Jim Baker with an embrace on the far side from his staff. And as the horn sounds, the undefeated campaign is complete. The Central Cabarrus Vikings will be taking the title back to Concord, North Carolina.
That was a fun game to watch. It really was. Well played, both teams.
Amazing athletes, an unblemished season, and a team that has set the pace all year long. They're in the shadow of Charlotte Motor Speedway, right? They got to set the pace, and they will be out front as the reigning champions in North Carolina 3A. What a year, and what a state title game for the Vikings of Central Cabarrus.
You know, those guys, I guess they might not know, but they were very lucky to get a coach like Jim Baker, who can teach you all the stuff that you'd learn in college coaching. Fun to watch. I think they might have turned it over 11 times in a game like that. That's hard to do, but they take care of the basketball. But I can't. Hey, Northwood was right there. They were right there. Think about how close this game is, and they turned it over probably over 20 times. And so you take 6 of those turnovers and you don't make it, game's tied. So both teams, excellent game.
Desmond Kent Jr. as well as Miller, the leading scorers, also in double figures. Jake Thompson, who ends the contest with 10. You've got the 3 in double figures, and you've got the overall team effort, as you said. They had 5 averaging in double figures across the course of the season. And once again, everybody was a contributor for the Vikings. We will break away. When we come back, we'll have the trophy presentation and much more as we cap the 2023 basketball season. It ends here at Reynolds with a title for the Vikings. Well, a look at the final numbers brought to you by the United States Army. GoArmy.com. Be all that you can be. Well, these Vikings were, Coach. What are the final numbers that you will remember from this contest as we look at the overall stats?
Everything just plays out like it should play out. And even when they needed to Northwood needed to take care of the basketball, they didn't do it. It's a 14-point loss, and they had 19 turnovers compared to 10. So that's where the difference is. They had more rebounds than Central because they're bigger. But other than that, it was all about turnovers, taking care of the basketball.
Well, a great season for this Northwood squad. The Chargers, the champions out of the East, being recognized as the medals are handed out. They end up with just a tremendous campaign, and they were valiant representatives from the East in this one. Northwood receiving those lifetime memories from the state championship environment. We turn our attention to our player of the game. And, Coach, we talked about how more was going to be required perhaps off the bench from Desmond Kent Jr. because he was the tallest Viking on the squad. Boy, did he answer the bell.
They have one in the paint player. He comes off the bench, and I didn't even know it, and he scores all the points in the paint. And it was a nice little addition there.
On cue,
he's a nice junior.
16. He goes 7 of 10 from the field. He had those 3 key blocks that you see on his stat line, and he is our player of the game. And our player of the game, as we have mentioned throughout, like so many of our great sponsorships, in this one brought to you by myspot.nc.gov. Some final moments of just some snapshots being taken for Northwood on a tremendous season for the Chargers. And we get set to hand you over to the public address as the accolades and the individual honors, as well as the state championship trophy, are just about to be awarded to the Vikings of Central Cabarrus. One more round of applause inside Reynolds for the Chargers of Northwood. And now we do turn you over to public address for the state championship trophy presentation.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing your 2022-2023. At this time, we ask the players to please come forward as I call your name. Jaden Thompson. Chase Daniel. Jake Baker. Emily Russell. Adriel Miller. Devontae Martin. Elijah Fuller. Orson Daniels. Gavin Bullock. Hayden Smith. Desmond Kent Jr. Marquise Bruce Jones. And Noah Livingston. Assistant coaches, Corey Kirby. Mike Lowe. Bill Watson. And the head coach of the Central Cabarrus Vikings District Gym. and their championship medal. Members of the state champions will also receive special commemorative t-shirts. Number 32, Cabarrus of the Northwood Football Chargers. We are pleased to honor several outstanding individual performances in this championship game for the state champion. For the state champion, the most outstanding players in this championship game, as selected by media representatives covering the game, is presented to number 3, Jacob Cabarrus. Now, the presentation of the Charlie Down, the Valuable Player Award, as selected by media representatives covering the game.
Jaden Thompson rewarded for his efforts in the entire title run for this squad. A 65-51 victory for Central Cabarrus. And guess who is about to be handed the hardware? We showed you his impact on this contest just a moment ago. And Desmond Kent Jr. is going to be awarded this hardware. Coach, just a tremendous, tremendous effort, a perfect season, and a team that, as we said, set the pace all season long, won the battle when, as Coach Jim Baker said, the trains collided in this 3A title game.
Yeah, and they're used to scoring a lot of points, and tonight they proved that they don't have to score a lot of points so they can still win. But I want to say this, there was a lot of adjustment going on for both coaches. Matt Brown did a great job. He was getting beat pretty bad early, then he changed the defense and he slowed this thing down and he got control of the tempo, and he did, and the turnovers hurt him. And then Jim Baker kept changing. There's a lot of chess going on. You didn't see it, but I did. And little things. And both games, it was a great game. Great high school basketball game.
Always a pleasure to journey alongside you. A tremendous effort by all these teams. Congratulations to all the state champions, including the Central Cabarrus crew, celebrating theirs most recently right here at Reynolds Coliseum. Just an amazing basketball season that comes toward closure here tonight. And again, congrats to all who made it to a state championship environment and all those who claimed crowns here in 2023. We also want to thank the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, United Health Centers, Talk It Out North Carolina, NC 529, Hardee's, Riddle and Brantley, West Shore Home, the North Carolina Department of Public Safety, Ingalls Markets, and the U.S. Army, all proud partners of Sinclair. For Sinclair, for our producer, Josh Monk, his outstanding crew, for all our broadcast partners, alongside Eric Gash, Anna Whitty, and Kevin Cantwell, Jason Patterson saying thanks for joining us. Congrats to the champs.